My name's Derek Osborne. I've worked for Pat Rick Environmental since 2000. I started off with an FF2, became a squad boss the next season, a crew boss the next year, and then from there on I've been running crews. I've progressed up to be a strike team leader, ICT4, working on my task force leader task book. I run operations here at the office, which means run people out in the field for thinning operations, hand piling, things like that, fuels reduction work, some of our tree care and things like that as well. And so I've been all over the western states, except for New Mexico is like one of the few that I've missed, but pretty much crewed from there all the way up. I've been to Alaska. I've been in the southeast. I've been to Minnesota for fires as well. That's where actually I grew up and was raised, and was in Minnesota. So that was fun for that. I'll start with the cold weather. One of my favorite stories was when we went to Minnesota. We, it takes 3 days to drive there. We're coming from the southeast. Get there in 3 days, it starts raining, starts snowing. We get there, and the first night there, this is in October, and being from Minnesota, I was like, well, the Southerners are going to get a nice treat. Get 8 inches of snow overnight. We get trapped in the small town of, I believe it was Greenwood, Minnesota, northern Minnesota. I mean, we in Greenwood, I think we're 30 miles from the border, the Canadian border at that point. And we end up, we're like, I think all the guys are like, great, we're literally trapped in a community hall in Greenwood, if I remember the name correctly. And so the whole town loses power. They move my crew to the community hall. And then the bar in town proceeds to bring us a pizza oven. And we're like, okay, oh, and here's all the pizzas, because they're all gonna thaw and go bad any which way. So here, it takes us 2 hours to make enough pizza to feed 20 guys. So then the next day, finally, 8 inches of snow. Then the guy, the Southerners are just like, some of them have never seen this amount of snow, and I'm just going, this is odd for Minnesota in October too. Don't get me wrong, but it was just their amazement of what's going on. I'm like, yeah, this is a Minnesota welcome. Just going, hi, it snows here, and it's just ridiculous. And so we finally, we're there for like a day and a half. We overnight, we come back. We finally find a hotel. We're up in Waugh Road, which is literally it's right next to the lake that's on the northern part of Minnesota, which is escaping me at the moment. That is international waters. It's got patrol, so we're literally 10 miles from the border at this point. And we're at the start of a 14-day run, and the guys are going, it snowed 8 inches. What could the fire possibly be doing? And they think all the fires are out. I'm like, no, we've got peat up here. It's so we spend the next 2 weeks on mopping up a fire, and the guys are like, I would never have suspected after 8 inches of snow in cold weather that we'd be here for 2 weeks. I'm like, it happens. And of course, we're using Marsh Masters, which are things that are tracked vehicles that go up and over land and then float across the water, and switch motors to get out to these areas that you can't access by land because it's marshy. And we have a whole bunch of, like I said, once again, a whole bunch of Southerners there that are just completely blown away by what's going on, because I mean, 8 inches of snow, and they're now floating over in Marsh Masters in places where, with five people on a Marsh Master transported out to mop up this area, and just having a good time, And like I said, this all started off, off a 3-day trip. We get there and like, oh yeah, we'll be here for a long period of time.